Good morning Africa on iAfrica TV mbokk yi ñu leen di nuyu di leen dalalaat fii si beneen edition of the Good Morning Africa program. It's Wednesday the 26th of May 2020. Wherever you are, we are saying a very good morning to you from the Good Morning Africa program, and many thanks for joining us wherever you are. This is the Good Morning Africa program, your favorite program that brings in issues from the world, and of course we bring in analysis, and which will be followed by the newspaper review. It's your favorite program, you know, very interesting, very analytical, and of course very exciting, and we're always good to be back here. Mbokk yi Good Morning Africa program bi comme niñ ko dee baaxoo di defee saa su ne rek dañ dee start suñ studio stories yi followed by a very important analysis of issues yoo xam ne daf dee happen, and suñ amee newspaper review tamit ñu andi ko te xam nga Good Morning Africa dañ ko dee mix and blend. Suñ amee suñ team bi daf dee dem in and about the country pour analyse issues dañ leen dee andi loolu tamit si Good Morning Africa programme comme nuñ ko dee defee saa su ne rek daf dee interesting programme dañ leen dee andi loo xam ne dafa am solo te dafa déggu news boo xam ne dafa déggu torop. So Good Morning Africa programme di mu fi te this morning too it's not going to be an exception. Dinañ comme nuñ ko baaxoo di defee saa su ne rek te tamit dañoo def loo xam ne dafa am solo torop te suñ stories yi nekk am nañ foofu Mali. Gis nañ ne Mali gars yi dañ stage on a coup, and as a result, you know, ECOWAS and other, you know, blocs that intervene as resolve affaire yi mu resolve, but at the end of the day 9 months down the line you gis tamit another issue that, you know, is happening in the country. Loolu noonu dañ ko as a Good Morning Africa programme bi dooy tamit gaa ñu ngi launch seen transformative agenda bi ahead of the December presidential election. Loolu tamit dañ ko andi which will be followed by very interesting analysis on that. With that we kickstart with matters of Mali, because Mali's interim vice president Colonel Assimi Goïta said on Tuesday that he had seized power after the transitional president and prime minister failed to consult him about formation of a new government. The declaration followed the arrest of President Bandao and Prime Minister Mukhtar, as after a government reshuffle left out 2 soldiers who led the coup in August last year. Amindao has the rest of that story.
It took about 9 months for Mali's former coup chief to stage another coup, but this time around overthrowing the government he once served. The latest one comes a day after the arrest of Malian President Bandao and Prime Minister Mokhtar Kouani at a military base in Kati outside Bamako. They were detained after a government reshuffle left out 2 soldiers who led the coup in August last year. In an earlier joint statement, the UN and AU called for the immediate and unconditional release of Mali's civilian leadership and said the international community rejects in advance any act of coercion, including forced resignation. A statement signed by ECOWAS, US and some European countries said representatives of the regional bloc will Tuesday visit the capital Bamako. The joint statement called Ndao and Kouane's detentions reckless and called for Mali's political transition to resume its course and conclude within the established time frame. Ndao, a former soldier, and Kouane were sworn in September last year after Mali's generals, faced with the threat of regional sanctions, agreed to hand over power in the wake of an August coup that removed President Ibrahim Abubakar Keïta. Coup leader Assimi Goïta was appointed as vice president, and the caretaker administration was tasked with overseeing an 18-month transition back to civilian rule. 2 others who were instrumental in the coup, Sadio Camara and Colonel Madibo Kone, were given the defense and security portfolios respectively. Camara and Kone were replaced in Monday's shuffle, although the military held onto other strategic portfolios it previously controlled. No reason was given for Camara and Kone's exclusion, but the cabinet setup came in the face of growing criticism of the interim government, with civil society groups questioning whether the military-dominated government has the will or the ability to push through reforms and hold elections next year. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Amindao.
Of course, that is the story done by our very own Amindao. And Mali's interim vice president, which is Colonel Assimi Goita, they are also, staging another coup after 9 months. He's the coup leader who staged the coup to overthrow the government, and then the ECOWAS and other blocs, international community intervened, and as a result, they came up with a new government, and that government also will serve for 18 months. From there, the country will head for a new elections where they will select another, civilian president. But unfortunately, before that, the coup leader decided to arrest or detain Bandau and of course the Prime Minister, which it's very, very sad. And of course the ECOWAS and AU have called on the coup leader to immediately release Bandau and the Prime Minister, and of course saying that their detention is reckless. Lolu more than the neka Mali fofu nono gison nagne guidance stage on a coup in Mali 9 months ago, and as a result ECOWAS guy intervened. Legi civilian president or civilian government moy rule for 18 months. After 18 months bobu nono nak legi country be deka be dañoo dem election, suñ demee election daga dañoo decide the fate who will kan moy safat si the nekazi presidency bi. But as at now bala lodu de hew sa ku Bandau Assimi Goita rada koku modon dan di stage coup d'etat bobu nono, koku dan di arrest ku neka Bandau ak Prime Minister ambi moo nekk Mukhtar waaye ECOWAS nag fu mu nekk nii gaa ñu ngi oote ñu ngi ñaax pour gaa ñu release mu nekk ku nekk Bandau and of course Mukhtar pour ñu ne lu nekk di def loolu noonu is reckless. So and hopefully gaa yi dañoo resolve the situation diplomatically to avoid any recurrence of this current situation that is happening in Mali. Mali won over the past months. The situation has been very, very tense in that country. So as a result, ECOWAS had to intervene, to solve the situation. But unfortunately, 9 months down the line, we are seeing the same thing repeating itself. And we hope the regional bloc will come up with a possible or lasting solution to the crisis, political crisis in Mali. With that, we head to another issue, because one of the oldest political parties, People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, has on Tuesday launched its transformative agenda ahead of the crucial December elections. The transformative agenda seeks to facilitate the building of a secular and democratic state, with each citizen serving in equal measures as the possessory of a sovereign republic. The leader of the party, Halifa Sallah, said their contract with the Gambia is to pledge to serve the interests of the people by ensuring that the state exists for the people and not the people for the state. The prominent politician further asserted that government is not an end in itself, but a means to promote liberty, dignity, and prosperity, and DOI will endeavor to achieve these goals. Here is an excerpt of Halifa Sallah.
Every day you hear people that I am afraid that if I say this, I may lose my job, or I will not get a job, or somebody will not consider me. That therefore I am voiceless. That I have shouted about my problem. I've shouted about my poverty. But nobody is there for me. And this is constantly what people say. I am powerless. We say we are liberated today, and every single day you hear people, I am voiceless. I am powerless. I am helpless. I'm hopeless. That's why Doi had to capture the state of our people in its preamble. Today we are here to tell you, as the manifesto says, that every citizen of a republic has a contract with nation and people. You will either fulfill that contract and then you will be honored and absolved, or betray the contract and be condemned by history to live in poverty until you die in poverty. We can live in liberty, dignity, and prosperity if we fulfill that contract. And for 51 years, for some, because of interest, and for others, because of ignorance, the vast majority of Gambian people have been betraying that contract. That is why we've been living in poverty. That is why injustice prevails. And the manifesto is challenging all of you to put an end to that betrayal, to take back what belongs to us, that we are owners of power, we are owners of the wealth of this land. 200 nautical miles of our exclusive economic zone belong to us. We can fish there. We can search what is there to be able to produce electricity in order to live in prosperity.
That is Honorable Halifa Sallah. They are speaking on the launching of the party's transformative agenda ahead of the December election. And of course, this morning we are joined by our very own colleague Fatoumata Kasim to discuss at length. She was there yesterday to discuss at length on the launching of the transformative agenda, and of course we will bring you more of that today in this Good Morning Africa program. But before then, good morning Fatoumata Kasim, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Julde, and thanks for having me on this program today. I'm saying good morning to everyone out there watching iAfrica TV right about now.
Very well. Yesterday you were at the launching of the transformative agenda by the DOIS party. What was the environment like?
Julde, thank you for that question. Okay, it's like the old DOI we used to know and the present one is different. Before, we don't know DOI on this ambience, this musical interludes and stuff like that. But yesterday we saw another DOI. It was full of ambience. Everybody was, the crowd was good, the turnout was good, and there were a lot of ambience from Mandinka performance to the wall of musical, what we locally call Ngoyan. Everything was there, and the environment was so it was interesting. It was interesting. It seems like DOI have realized the fact that politics goes with entertainment, and now they are ready to adopt that.
Yeah, and one might say that, okay, the critics of the party, will say that the party is for the old people, and the party is a boring one. Do you think that was the reason why they decided to change their strategies on the way they're doing politics in this country?
Julde, one can say that is the reason, because yesterday, if you see the crowd, there were a lot of youths. Instead of the old people, I think it was dominated by the youths. And one thing about the Gambia is if you don't do a particular thing in politics, people won't come and answer to you. And I think DOI have realized that, and now they're starting to act like one of the political parties in the Gambia.
Very well. Some of the key, things discussed there. Of course, Halifa is someone who always want to engage in socialism and someone who is a key promoter of socialism. So what was the main issue or the talking points of yesterday's agenda?
Julde, okay, yesterday's program was about the launch of the informative agenda, and the informative agenda contains a lot of information which he was talking. I think the man spoke for 1 hour 40 minutes. Yeah, just trying to tell the people what DOI as a party have for the people when they assume power or when they are given responsibilities. And one of the key topics that they bring was transportation, tourism, because for him it was like whenever, like for the past decades, people have been saying that they could not have job opportunities. They will go to school, and after schools, they will not have job because all the term that everyone uses is nepotism. That is who you know and not what you know. And he said in the Doy's government, this will have to stop because people will be employed based on what they know. And he also talked about the transportation. He also talked about the tourism.
Okay.
That is the tourism sector. He said tourism in the Gambia, like tourists have been coming in the Gambia, and when they come, they have no impact in the country, and which he said it is going to change because once they assume power, they will change the tourism system. Like any tourist that has to come to the Gambia.
Tourism, it's a huge contributor when it comes to the Gambia's gross domestic product. I think they contribute more than 21%.
But to him, that is low. He thinks they could contribute more than that. And that is why, that is what he was saying, that if he assumed power, tourists coming to the Gambia would have to at least pay $100 for any local craft that the Gambia is giving out, so that at least at the end of every year, the Gambia will earn at least certain billions of dollars that will remain in the country instead of tourism. Tourists just come in here and being inside the hotel locked, and some hotels have their craft market without going to the public craft market. He thinks that all those things have to change when Doi assumes power.
So, okay, Gambia as a capitalist state for over 56 years, do you think Gambian as a country is really ready to embrace a socialist ideology?
Well, Julde, I think that will be a great question because we've been, for the past 56 years, like Gambia has been a capitalism state. And we've seen the same trend happening from regimes to regime. And Doi is here offering a socialism state where power will belong to the country. Well, I think Gambians themselves will know better of what they need to do now, because we cannot say you should vote for this or vote for this, but Gambia know what is best for them. And if we are stagnant to one, like being a capitalism state and it's not helping, why not we try another thing and see if that will help the country? Because in life we have to change things. We should not be stagnant to one. But when we say socialism state, people have this question in them. Can the Gambia be a socialism state? Where can we have the money? Is Halifa or Doi, are they wealthy enough to take up this responsibility?
Yeah, that is what
exactly.
Many people are concerned with. You know, is Halifa or the Doi party, are they really ready? What are their real strategies? What are the plans and strategies that they have, you know, when they come in power, you know, in the December election? So, I mean, all these things are questions that are lingering in the minds of the people.
Yeah, and the man was generous enough yesterday to give us some points that they will be working towards. Because he was saying that the sea, we have the sea, and the sea is ours, and the sea is rich enough. If we own the sea, why can't we benefit from it? He is saying that we could use the sea to fish, and we could also use it for electrical purposes.
Yeah, many critics of the government are saying now the sea, it's not belonging to us. I mean, the EU signed and the Gambia government signed a contract
exactly,
on the
Julia, and that's
issue.
what the man was
Chinese
saying yesterday.
too are there. So
yeah, and exactly, that's what he was saying yesterday. And he was like, okay, if they assume power, it doesn't matter. Any powerful state, it doesn't matter which state you are, you cannot come to this country to see. In fact, you will not be given license. And if you are caught in the sea, you will, the charge for you is like you are going to buy a fishing trawler for the Gambia.
Interested.
Yeah, and he is saying that like any boat that they catch fishing, that is illegal fishing, you will have to pay for the sum of buying a fishing trawler. And he's saying if we have been doing that for the past years, how many fishing trawlers will the Gambia have?
Many.
Will we bring foreigners to come and fish in our rivers? So he was so concerned about that, and other aspects like agriculture, that he was saying that he will bring investors to invest in our agriculture. We have lands that we can cultivate on. So why is the Gambia still poor when the country itself is wealthy?
Yeah, that's also another question. Waaye léegi ñu move rek si wolof si tënk rek nga wax ñu démba lan moo xewoon xam nañ ne dooy parti bi gaay dañ doon launch gaay seen transformative agenda ahead of the December elections. Léegi wax ñu démba lan moo nekkale woon di key talking points loo xam ne loolu lañ waxtaane woon te Halifa Sallah ak parti am lan lañ wax ne ñoom dinañ change differently gaay suñ ñëwee gis nañ ne country bi fu mu nekk ni state bu mu nekk lan lañ wax ñoom lan lu ñoo def suñ ñëwee si in December 2021 rather.
waaw Julde jërëjëf rek comme luñ doon wax ci anglais rek ñu tenkaat ko ci olof waaw pour déglukat yi ak seetaankat yi foofu noonu démba demoon nañ ci doy seen informative agenda launching bi foofu sa Kairaba Beach Hotel waaye dangaa gis ne doy ñoom dañ foog ne fu mu nekk nii lu doy dafa doy gis nañ ne daal si pass yees yi at yu passé yëpp the same strategy moo dee am ñoom fu ñu nekk nii system change lañu wax ñu ne ñoom système bi lañ bëgg a change not individually changing doy ñoom loolu lañ tënk seen
gis nañ ñu bari wax nañ loolu even coalition bi bu ñëwee 2016 loolu lañ doon woy di wax ne ok léegi ñuy system change lañ bëgg a digga na ni génn na ni and all that but 4 years down the line ku nekk mu ngi wax ne ok government bi dafa fail nit ñi ku nekk mu ngi wax ne fu mu nekk ni lu nekk dafa seer dundin bi dafa seer lu nekk mu ngi seer te fu mu nekk ni crime rate bi tamit mu ngi indi increase so doy tamit fooguloo ne gars su ñëwee in 2021 ñoom tamit di dañ def same thing because President Barrow sax waxoon na fi ne sooy campagne di nga wax lu nekk lu la ne di nga ko lu nekk ngay wax fooguloo ne doy tamit ñu ngi use the same strategy pour am nit ñi te suñ nekkee in power dañoo def the same thing.
waaw Julde in politics they say the end justify the means politicians yi dañoo ñëw ku nekk mun naa wax lii laay def lii laay def lii laay def but according to Halifa Sallah even before démba si press conference am bi sax wax na ne ñoom dañ ñëwoon together pour def system change waaye ñoom dañ beetu ne système bi change so moom si boppam they are not ready now to work with any party boo xam ne dafaa nekk individual change rek ku ñoo liggéeyal dafaa nekk loo xam ne system change la so ñoom loolu lañ pare right now pour def te gis nga ne comme si informative agenda bi tënk na certain different sectors yoo xam ne ñoom foofu la gaay ñëwee pour change te su fekkee ne nuñ ko waxee noonu lañ ko defee parce que ñoom ñëpp politicien lañ rek waaye su fekkee nuñ ko waxee noonu lañ ko defee I believe ne Gambia kon dina change.
kon yow foog nga ne doy stand nañ a chance because fu mu nekk ni gars yi dañ nekk nañ si political landscape bi for about 56 years depuis time yi Jawara gars yi ñu fa yaa Jammeh tamit ñoo gars yi ñu fa ba léegi gars yi ñu fa foog nga ne léegi stand nañ a chance in the Gambia.
Well, Jude, that is going to be a very difficult question to answer.
I know. but provided that, they already outlined, their strategies, their plan and all that, I want to believe they, now ready to do something different. Moo taxit ma the question, now that, outline nañ seen strategies yi ak seen plans, lan lañ bugg a def suñ nekkee in power. Moo taxit nag ma the question bi, konka now that they outlined that, now what will be the outcome of that? te gis nga wax nga ne ñi ñi bari nañ def nañ ambiance time boobu noonu doy parti bi duñ doon def ambiance yooyu noonu dañ ñu bari sax tax na ba ñu bari di wax ne sax parti mag la mag yi ñoom ñoo ko moom mag yi rek ñoo interest in doy parti but now gis nañ ne démba comme lu happen noonu it's different trend bi mu ngi change.
Julde comme ni ma la ko waxee rek it's going to be very difficult because Gambia at some point da nga gis mbiraan bi ñu ngi bëri sa gannaaw only to find out ne ba si election bi votes yee am you will be surprised so doyi mun nañoo am nit yu bari dem teeru leen nit ñu bari uyu leen but at the end of the day votes yu gaay di am it will be very different. So I always say this, Gambian politics, the best thing to do is to sit and observe. Because sometimes daf la dee surprise si ways yoo xam ne yow sax doo ko dee mën a expect da nga dee expect ne kii mooy win because of ndiiraan bu mu am nga ñoo gis ne leneen mooy am. It's like people bi dañ bugg a mbex suñ fu nit ñi bari rek ñu bari dañoo ànd ak yow.
te comme suñ trend bi political trend bi in the Gambia. nu def ko moo ne the incumbent always kooku moo de stand a bigger chance.
exactly
Jawara ku moo ko fa génne Yaya Jammeh tamit mu fa woon for the past 22 years
exactly.
You know, so trend bi daal daf mu ngi bugg a continuer te gis nañ ne tamit coalition bi ñëw na 4 years down the line tamit ñu ngi gis changes. So dafa mel ne rek in the Gambia comme suñ political landscape bi lu mel incumbent party leader yi ñoom ñoo dee stand a chance.
ok Julde pour ma sànni si dara tuuti rek because démba Halifa Sallah si boppam mu doon wax ne Gambia soo gisee lu tax ñu po these are two reasons. It's either we are ignorance or we are serving our interests, and that we need to stop. Parties based on their agendas, not for our interests. Pour mom Gambia, and which we need to step out of. So ma gis na ne ok nit ñi seen boppa déglu nañ lu mu wax so léegi des na si seen loxo parce que paa bi lu mu war a wax yëpp wax na ko léegi nag des na si gaay
te wax na sa si kaddu am ne ñuñ réew mi dañ am koom-koom waaye ñun nit yi sa si boppam
dañ po waaw loolu la wax loolu la wax dafa over emphasize on that mu ne waaw dëkk bi am na alal dëkk bi am na alal waaye dëkk bi nit ñi dañ po. And he was even talking on the education system. How he will, xam nga naka la moo wàccee coono bi si parents yi especially jigéen yi naka la moo joxee maternal leave boo xam ne 1 year la moo nekka pre ak post soo nekkee jigéen yi biir 3 months nañ la jox nga dem soo wasinee 9 months dinga ko dem with benefits ak sa salary ak everything that you need to earn. He also talked about giving paternal leave. I am
sure women, you know.
He also talked about giving paternal leave.
Wow, dinañ welcome that move, you know.
Wow, to the fathers. And di wax ne dina jox papa yoo xam ne tamit 6 months leave boo xam ne di nga mun a yóbbu sa doom school dina joxe lekka dina xale bu nekk buy dem school daal di nga am free education.
Yeah, because ñu bari sax in that aspect ñu ngi wax ne dañ marginalize you know góor yi si side boobu noonu because maternal leave bi jigéen yi rek lañ ko dee jox góor yi moom déedéet amuñ benn maternal leave te believe nañ ne tamit am nañ a responsibility in the upbringing of the child. Góor bi am na responsibility jigéen bi am na responsibility te dëgga like 90 to 80% of you know the time jigéen bi moo dee nekk xale bi but tamit góor bi tamit has a responsibility si doom bi so loolu noonu tamit ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne ok that is dafa nekk loo boo xam ne daal you know dafa marginalize góor yi ak yooyu noonu.
Góor yi they've been always complaining.
Exactly ñu ngi complaining jigéen yi they're giving them too much rights.
I know waaye so loolu la rek wax na yu bari foofu noonu waaye yëpp des na tamit ci loxo Gambien si Julde parce que paa bi waxam rek mënut a change nit ñi xëy na dafa nekk loo xam ne
te yàgg naa wax te yàgg na Halifa yàgg naa wax
for the longest time
longest time mu ngi wax rek mu ngi wax te gis nañ even in parliament daf dee wax extensively on matters of the country daf dee wax wàllum jànga bi wàllum you know wérgu yaram gi health you know wàllum suñ koom-koom bi loolu yëpp daf dee raise issues yoo xam ne ñi dañ ko dee déglu te dañ ko dee préciser loolu noonu tamit waaye even the draft constitution boo xam ne dafa fail moom dafa waxoon ne instead of Gambia bi ñu andi a whole new constitution why not ñu amend only 1997 constitution te gis nañ ne bu mu failee ñu bari dañ delluwaat si moom si waxam bi lu mu doon wax so loolu mu nekk loo xam ne am na solo trop waaye comme you know with all said and done do you think doy guys seen parti bi am nañ doole bi pour change you know the current situation of the country xam nañ ne léegi fu mu nekk ni suñ debt bi is more than 7 billion so foog nga ne léegi doy as a party am nañ doole bi pour change the current trend in the country.
ok Julde ma delloo la rek suñ buñ demee press conference bi am na ku ko laajoon wax boobu ne ko yow deb bi dafa bari soo naka nga mun a def ba yow soo toogee ñu seet ndax deb bi dinañ ko fay wala duñ ko fay mu ne ok yoo xam ne mun nañ koo fay dinañ fay yooyu yoo xam ne nag munuñ koo fay négociation la moo nekk rek between yow ak dëkk bi su ko defee dafa nekk bilateral understanding yoo xam ne mun nañ koo fayee noonu but pour moom ay jël loon moo war a jee si moom lu mu foog moom daal feel na ne Gambia am nañ that resources boo xam ne suñ ko usee duñ leb suñ ko usee nuñ ko waree use waaw duñ leb so moom foofu la capitaliser strength am ne foofu la strength am nekka and even if they have to take loans sax du nekka loo xam ne dafa bari comme the present one we are in because pour moom mu ne même xale bu juddu tey sax am na already debt of $38,000 and which he thinks ne it should not have happened waaw so moom fu mu nekk nii wane na dooleem ne fii la mu nii ne si géej bi ne si agriculture bi ne si tourism sector bi wax na certain parts yoo xam ne foofu la moom foofu la gaay di jëlee koom-koom te foofu la gaay di mun a dimbalee tamit Gambian bi moom dafa feel ne képp ku fay tax rek yow tax bi dañ la ko war a delloo waaw soo fayee tam mu ne maire yi ñu ngi si marché bi di jaay di fay tax waaye tax bi delloo wut si gaay so moom dafa feel ne that is so unjust and that should not happen so comme naal moom fu mu nekk nii foofu la base strength tamit and foofu la bëgg a daal Gambie ñëw uyoo si ko su ko defee gaay defar réew bi
so si wàllum education nag because ñu bari tamit ñu ngee ŋaaññi di current government ñu ngee wax ne waa government bi fu mu nekk ni because it's a fundamental right for everybody to have access to education waaye ñu bari ñu ngee ŋaaññi government bi di wax ne ok education fu mu nekk ni pour am access dafa difficult especially tertiary education university is super expensive so amutee scholarship most of the time you know the ordinary Gambian mënut a fay university tuition fii ndax laal na tamit si faana boobu noonu
waaw Julde comme ni ma la ko doon waxee rek laal na si faana boobu noonu parce que wax na ne bépp Gambian bu juddu si dëkk bi rek war ngaa am looy jàngee te war ngaa jànga so moom lu mu wax mooy Gambian bu nekk dinañ la bëgg di fayal school fees depuis si sa basic bi ba tertiary they are going to pay it. And
how? I mean, is that even realistic in the first place?
And he even said that
in thousands and thousands of students are graduating every year.
And he even said that he will not call it free education because free is not the pleasant word to use. But at
free,
least
like as in Jammers, as in Jammers,
maybe, according to man, maybe he doesn't want to use free because he said leadership it's not a copycat. So he wants to invent certain terms and certain new terms that he will not be saying that like he's copying what has been happening or what have already transpired. So he's saying that they will use monies from the coffers of the state to pay tuition fees for children. And not only stopping there, dinañ make sure ne xale bu dem school dinañ la jox lunch, dinañ la jox breakfast, and everything will be catered for. Pour rek ñu génnee coono boobu noonu ci sa parents yi.
But is that realistic considering how the country is?
Well, Jude, right now
is there boo xam ne he promised to settle that.
Yeah.
Gis nañ ne tamit lu bari loo xam ne the prices prices of basic commodities is skyrocketing by the day. So I mean, how is he going to manage all that within 5 years?
Okay, well, let's say, Julde, when right now, come no ko wahere, in a capitalism state, where means of distribution and everything depends on the private ownership. But in a socialism state, that is, lum nekk di advocate for right now, that is socialism. Da nga gis ne the means of distribution be, dafa nekk on the community.
Which it will be done by the people.
Exactly. Si people bi la moo nekka. So in that case, if that happens, te loolu am na, moom lu moo advocate for yëpp taxaw na, there is a high probability that will come true. But su fekkee loolu moom amut,
but gis nañ ne Gambia bi comme trend bi lum nekk di happen in most cases Gambia bi Gambian bi daf dee bugg di jaamu ku nekk nguur bi ku nekk leader bi every time gis nañ fi time yi Jammeh ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne Jammeh lu tax mu nekk dictator Gambian si ñoo ko def dictator because ndaxte Gambian si ñoo ko nekk di jaamu Gambian si ñoo ko jox power boo xam ne ñoo ko made to believe ne dafa am power boo xam ne amu ko dañ ko jox too much power as a result moo tax mu nekk dictator fooguloo ne tamit Halifa tamit su demee foofu noonu dina change the same I mean this is politics you can never tell
Julde well du Jammeh rek I think all the past regime dañ la dee wax ne in fact nguur bi daf dee bugg a dem sax bay wàcca ñu ko wax non warloo wàcca people love you people adore you people do this but nit ku nekk foog naa war ngaa saama sa kaddu góor kàddoom that is the famous proverb soo bëggee ñu óolu la wala ñu teg la fu ñu la tegu danga war a saama sa kaddu so we've seen that even the present regime that's the same practice we are having ñu ngi ko bëgg a teg foo xam ne mooy loolu we tend to worship people we tend to put them in places that they themselves know ne ñoom sax deserving to be there as a leader you are a servant of the people danga war a serve nit ñi nekkul the other way round boo xam ne nit ñi dañ laa def VIP déedéet we are the VIP because we put you there we gave you the power that you're having we gave you the authority ñun ñoo la ko jox ñu ne la nekk pour nga saama ñu pour nga lead ñu so the least you could do is to give us back that power understand nga by making sure you provide for us everything that is the basic necessity that we need as a country not the other way around understand nga so in Halifa's case he is saying that we need to take power back mu ne dañ war a jël power si suñ loxo in order for us to move and si loolu lum si tënku
constitution bi lum ko waxoon power belongs to the people
exactly te mu ne constitution boobu contract la between nit ñi ak nguur bi so it's either nga dem nga saama sa contract boobu noonu o nga betray contract bi te soo betray contract bi it means ne poverty du musa jeex si Gambia bi noonu la ko paa bi tënkee
all right finally rek si conclusion bi in the 2021 presidential election ak Halifa yépp lu mu wax strategies ami plans ami and everything where do you focus PDOIS in the coming election gis naa ne the last elections moom ñoom duñ dee jege sax in the top 3 duñ fa dee jege but now with the current strategies yuñ nekk di wax nit ñi foo gis PDOIS or Doi party bi in the coming elections
Julde I think loolu Gambians yi rek ñoo ko mën a tontu with their votes moo tax ñu ne ku nekk na secure a voter's card at the end of the day nga vote for someone that you think can take the country to the higher heights or can take the country from this level to another level so loolu moo tax ñu ne sa vote mooy sa kaddu so everybody should register dem si voter registration bi ut sa voter's card nga vote for someone that you feel ne moom soo ko joxee sa karta dina la mun a defaral yow loo soxla so let's say Doi with the new trend with the ambience with the entertainment and everything
with the policies strategies
and
new
programs
policies
in place and it's a good policy Julde if adopted it's a good policy for the Gambians and if we have this policy like Gambians will be respected so but at the end of the day what we can do is go there look at their agendas all of them and come here and tell the people this is what party A and B and C said.
Yeah.
So it is now left to the people to see who convinced them more or who they think that their agenda it's more vibrant or can take us to another level and take that person and vote for the person so that we will have the better Gambia that we all crave for.
Fatoumata Kasim, reporter at iAfrica TV. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Julde, for having me.
Thank you. Kooku moo nekkoon Fatoumata Kasim suñ colleague fii iAfrica TV moom dafa teewoon démba si launching of Doi's transformative agenda te gis dégg nañ ne wax na at length de Halifa Sallah moo nekk di leader of the party lu mu wax te analyse na critically on that issues, especially in terms of education, in the area of tourism, in the area of the debt services in this country. Wahna in length, about that issue. With that, we move on to another issue, because the leader of the Gambia Moral Congress, Mai Ahmad Fati, described the media as the most important and powerful tool in the world. The GMC leader said no government or political party can function without the media, and as a result, his party will continue to have regular sessions with the media. Daisise has more of that in this report.
The significance of the media is growing every day due to the great connectivity it makes around the world. The mediums don't only communicate, but also offer their own perspective on every event that takes place in the globe. According to GMC leader Mai Ahmad Fati, any government or political party that cares about prosperity must have the media at the right side.
So the media is a double-edged sword. It can destroy in the hands of deranged persons, particularly if they're in political authority. But it can do tremendous good throughout, from the Renaissance to date, all the way through the Industrial Revolution that created the middle class, down to the political revolutions of the 19th century that gave birth to political pluralism, to the information explosion, the digital age, nanotechnology. The media has always been there, has accompanied human progress and prosperity as a very dependable and loyal ally. And for us in the political field, we cannot function without you, and no society can function without you.
Mai said the media is the most agent overloaded above the judiciary in any country, because they can bring down the judiciary as well as corrupt government. The former Interior Minister added that his party will continue to have regular sessions with the media by engaging them.
There is no them and us between us and the media. So this is the beginning by GMC to engage the media at a very relaxed and informal setting, where we not just have a press conference and we stand there with an issue or with a message to deliver, and you are there to probe into your personal interest too, what you need to know. It is always a different setting. But we want an environment where we can interact, we can chat, we can be ourselves, we can all let down our guard and be human again.
The role of the media cannot be overemphasized, especially during elections, as they give political parties the tools to reach large numbers of people and can inform them on key issues ranging from policies to elections. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisise.
GMC leader there describing the media as the most powerful industry in the world, and of course we're the most powerful industry in the world, because the media has a very important role to play in every sector of the country, in everything that is happening in this country. Then they johe information hibar yu werte wor, then they inform the people on issues that is happening in the central government. As a result, then they you make an informed choice as to what is happening in their country, especially during elections. And from nekani media it's very, very important. The media practitioners, the role that they have in place. Of course, the role in the society, but remind we are the most powerful industry as in the world as far as information dissemination is concerned. And as a result, media practitioners say especially now that elections are coming in December in the Gambia here. A very big role. Media is capable of making or breaking this country, and as a result, I trust my people. I know they can do it. We have been doing it. We did it, in 2016, and we are going to do it, in December 2021 as well. I trust our people, and I believe that we can do better. We are doing great in terms of everything, information dissemination, making sure the people know what is really transpiring in the government, in the central government. And as a result, media bi dafa dimbale pour ñu génna ñu wax seen voice yi about issues that is happening in their country. Léegi media bi moo tax itam ñi dañ dee def every issue buñ am or every concern buñ am si seen government bi dañ dee génn freely ñu ñëw si media bi ok lii ak lii moo happen government bi ñu ngi doxalee loo nii te waruñ koo doxalee nii lañ ko war a doxalee te media bi rek moo am doole boobu noonu media bi rek moo mun a wax government bi ñu ngi def loo xam ne jaarut ak yoon media bi mu ñëw mu ne gaay government bi da ngeen def lii ak lii te jaarut yoon media bi rek moo mun a jóg mu investigate government bi luy nekk di def gaay seen transactions si seen deals si mu xam ne te lii jaarut si yoon media bi rek moo am doole bi pour génn mu ne government bi def nga lii ak lii te jaarut si yoon so comme media bi dafa am solo te nit ñi dañ war a téye media bi seriously dañ war a respect media bi ñoo xam ne without the media in any country country boobu noonu it's doomed so media bi is very very important. We are not an enemy to the state. We are not we are partners. We are partners in development because whatever the government needs the media more than the media needs the government because whatever they are doing, their policies, their program, and everything that they are doing, they want to, the media to publicize it. And if the media publicizes it, the people will see what is going on in the country. And as a result, then they will be able to make informed choices, as to, what is happening in their country. So, lolu mun daadu nekk loo xam ne dafa am solo torop. May Ahmed Fatina dafa remind nit ñi, at this crucial stage of our, political landscape in the country, now that the December elections are just right on the corner. December election bi mu ngi ñëw sori watut mu ngi ñëw so media bi nag am nañ a very crucial role to play so pour remind nit ñi ne government bi ak nit ñi tamit ne the role of the media is very very important there and which is very very timely there. With that we move on to another story. We look at matters of Kanilai where former President Yahya Jammeh's residence was because the former President Yahya Jammeh's residence in Kanilai used to be one of the best places in the country during his rule. But as our reporter Binta Jallow visited his native hometown, the ex-president's Jammeh's residence is left in a dilapidated state and furniture left to rot. She has more of that in this report.
What was known to be one of the best and beautiful houses in the country has turned to be the worst at its present state. One of the first things we could visibly see is that the dilapidated structures have no electricity supply. Kanilai is a village in southern Gambia near the border with Senegal. Former President of the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, was born in the village and expanded it after coming to power. Previously, the town has been a quiet backwater home to small-scale maize and groundnut farmers and little else. It was more than a home to a presidential palace, a wrestling arena, luxury hotel, a game park and zoo. In 2016, after the presidential election, which the former president lost, Jammeh was forced to flee to Equatorial Guinea after he rejected the results in a dramatic U-turn. His house was ransacked by unknown persons and the place is left to decay. We visited Kanilai only to find the place that was known to be home to one of the best mansions in the country at the time in a total mess with displaced items. In June 2019, wildfire engulfed the Kanilai residence of former President Yahya Jammeh. In 2017, the government of the Gambia set up a commission of inquiry to look into the financial activities of the former President Yahya Jammeh, those of his family and close associates. The commission, which sat to almost 2 years and spent $50 million, completed its works and submitted the report to the President. A visit by the Jammeh Commission to the former President Yahya Jammeh's residence in Kanilai revealed the former dictator's taste in buildings and unique furnitures. However, many people argue that the place could have been preserved as a historic place. According to some, it could have generated employment for the youth around the area. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallow.
That is former President Yahya Jammeh residence there. As our reporter indicated, Monica, the residence is now left in the mercy of the, flies, the mosquitoes. It's very disheartening to know that, former president's, resident will be, left like that, by the current government. Dañ wara xoolaat lii bu baax a baax because Gambia bi lu ñu yaaxa moo nekk lu nekk dañ ko politicize as a result daf ñu dee mun a delloo gannaaw lu bari oftentimes dañ dee dañ wara we're better than this and we can move forward, but what is really dragging us back is because everything dañ ko dee politicize in this country nowadays. Former President Jammeh is a very good it could be a very good historic place for students to go there. Ñu xam lan moo nekk fi President Jammeh ban life la doon live in Kanilai, because there are so many assertions, so many allegations levied against former President Yahya Jammeh. Jammeh commission bi wax nañ ne dafa spend millions and billions of dollars in Kanilai. Guys and jamboree bi seen festivals in Kanilai, all these things daf dee nekk loo xam ne dafa happen on in Kanilai. So Kanilai dafa nekk loo xam ne like millions and billions of Gambian dollars is dañ ko spend foofu noonu in Kanilai. So but this country, this place now, dañ ko bàyyi noonu rek ñu sànni ko foofu noonu rek ñu bàyyi ko to rot like that, and I think it should be preserved for something more important. Students yi mun nañ faa dem ñu xam nañ tey lan moo happen in the country, xam nañ ne Jammeh lan la fi def ak Kanilai time boobu lu mu doon mel and all that. But generations to come, they don't know. They need to know. They deserve to know. Seen former president bi ban lifestyle la nekkoon di live at fan la dëkka. They deserve to know. War nañoo dem foofu noonu excursion to know exactly what is happening. What has happened in the Gambia. For the past 30 years or 40 years or even 100 years to come. Dañ ko war a preserve. You use ko into something very, very meaningful. Foofu noonu dafa am a nature reserve sort of. Crocodiles in Nyumfa, lions in Nyumfa, hyenas in Nyumfa, everything loo xam ne like birds, all these animals are there in Kanilai. So dañ ko war a preserve. It's very, very important, even our tourism sector. Dañ ko war a preserve for the Gambia. Don't gis ne okay former President Jammeh moo fi doon li këram la, so dañ ko bàyyee noonu léegi nekkatut fi nañ ko saanee noonu rek lu xew rek baax na, because fu mu nekk nii dafa yaaxal yi dafa def li buñ ko xoolee noonu. Let us look at the whole issue at a broader spectrum. You hold things at a broader angle. Former president's residence used to be very, very nice. Ku nekk daal almost everybody went there. Ku nekk di liggéey si civil service bi rek dem nga foofu noonu nga xam nga ne Kanilai naka la mel, former president residence bi naka la mel. But léegi president bi with the current situation in in Kanilai is really disheartening, and I hope ne the authorities concerned gars yi dañoo def seen kantilai kattan pour make sure ne ñu seetaat foofu noonu ñu restructure the place nu meloon mu melaat noonu ñu reserve ko for generations to come, or if not you use ko for another place which will help the Gambia muna andi kom se réew mi. Tourism sector is one of them. Tourists can go there because tourists are eager. Most of the tourists are eager to know where Kanilai is, because a lot of things have been mentioned with regards to the place. So a lot of people are actually eager to know where the former President Jammeh residence is in Kanilai. So I think it's very, very important. It's better put you reserve ko than ñu bàyyi ko foofu noonu mu rot, or ñu bàyyi ko mu yaaxu foofu noonu. A lot of things mu happen foofu noonu. Or sometimes now that even ñi mun nañoo dem foofu noonu te ñu sàcca bagage yu fa nekk te bagage yoo xam ne they are very, very important for us. So loolu daal mu nekk loo xam ne dafa am solo torop te ñi dañ ko war a bàyyi xel bu baax a baax, especially the central government dañ ko war a bàyyi xel bu baax a baax. Nekkul ne rek government bu ñëw rek fu mu nekkoon or lu mu nekk di def rek ñu sànni everything in the gutters simply because dafa def one or two things here, simply because dañ allege ne dafa committed a lot of human rights violations in this country. Let us preserve what needs to be preserved. Buñ ko lavish like that. Let us just not abandon things simply because they are former President Jammeh's own. So this is the Gambia. We have this country. It is where we are. It is our home. So we need to protect it, we need to preserve things, you know, pour ñi tamit ñu mëna ñëw ñu gis lan moo nekk di happen. A lot of allegations and assertions have been made, you know, with regards to former President Yaya Jammeh's residence. So you preserve, correct? It's very important for our history. You know, this is a starting point for Gambia pour mu start binda own history. You know, li suñ ko bàyyi foofu noonu mu rot, you know, mu yaaxu places yi mu yaaxu. At the end of the day, you know, few years down the line, everything dafa yaaxu. So ñi suñ buggee ñëw foofu ñoonu history sax duñ am. So at the end of the day, ñi outsiders si ñoom ñooy ñëw di write our own history. Loo xam ne ñu ñoo fi nekkoon gis nañ ko, but suñ ko preserve, anytime our historians want to write anything about that, mun nañoo dem foofu rek ñu conduct seen research and ñu binda luñ bugg a binda. You know, let us write our own history. Mu nekk loo xam ne dafa am solo torop. Léegi nag time bi jaamu nañu. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Good Morning Africa program. That was all we have for you in this Good Morning Africa program. That was President Yahya Jammeh's former residence in Kanilai, left to rot or left in the mercy of the mosquitoes and of course the flies. You know, mu nekk loo xam ne dafa doy waar torop. You know, thank you so very much for the pleasure of your company. Jërë ngeen jëf si koluti bi si ànd bi ak si safo bi. Till we come your way tomorrow, same time, same place, same station. Stay blessed, stay safe, and you know, be very, very vigilant because the COVID-19 is here and it is here to stay. So be very, very vigilant. Fu mu nekk nii gis nañ ne ñi they are not taking the COVID-19 seriously. So let us be very vigilant with COVID-19 and of course the you know, security situation in this country. With that, bye-bye and do have a nice day.